What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So I gotta be honest, I am very excited that the Polish power Jan Błachowicz is, in my opinion, the #1 contender again, and that does set him up to fight the winner of Jiří versus Glover. So I wanted to discuss with you and break down both of those exciting matches, because obviously one of them would be a rematch to somebody he lost his belt to, and the other, I had no idea until we discussed a potential fight between Jan and Jiří several months ago, what the friendly but fierce rivalry between the Czech Republic and Poland is, and the magnitude that that fight would bring Jiří versus Jan. So either way this goes, I'm super excited for his next fight.
Yeah, in high school, you learn all about American history, and then you go into world history, and they dive into European history. Who would have thought MMA would teach you a little bit of European history and some good stuff that we never knew about? I think that's a really fun fight. Jiří versus Jan is very fun, and I do think we will see that at some point in these guys' career. However, I kind of want to lean towards the Glover fight just because it's something we don't generally see. You don't generally see a 40-plus-year-old get the title. You don't really see the 38-year-old be the #1 contender. And then one thing to make it even more rare is let those two at that age do a 3-fight trilogy or something like that. And who knows, Glover's obviously got the notch up on him, and if he wins again, they're not going to see a trilogy. But at least give the man a rematch if he does deserve another title shot. And I think Jan, with the win last night against Rakić, does deserve another title shot. I don't really see any other names jumping off the paper at me, telling me besides, obviously the fighter that's got the current title shot, which is Jiří, saying that they really are pining for that title shot. So I think Jan's a good matchup, and I would like to see Glover in there with him again. The only thing that would kind of scare me or make me a little bit nervous if I was in Jan's corner is Glover knows, because he's got so much experience, exactly what point he needs to take Jan to once again to break him. And when you get a submission like that on somebody, it wasn't that incredible of a rear naked choke. It was a good choke, don't get me wrong. When Glover's on your back, you're in trouble. But, he wasn't asleep. He wasn't about to go to sleep or anything like that. He had broken Jan down, and at that point, Jan was ready to give up. And I think that Glover's just going to be able to find that again. It's not like it happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It happened just several months ago. So I truly think that Glover might have the advantage both mentally and potentially physically once again if he does get in there with Jan.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When we train and we go in there with somebody who beats us every day and they choke us out every day, it's hard to really envision obviously you try your best every round to do the best that you can do, but you go in there knowing that this guy has your number, so to speak. And so it's kind of hard to really mentally get over that, especially as you said, it's not been that long. If it had been 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I've improved and Glover's gotten older and my jiu-jitsu game is much more buttoned up now than it was back then, you can kind of make that case. But hey, this just happened the other day. But I got to be honest with you though, I am actually more excited about the potential Jiří Procházka versus Jan Błachowicz matchup, because I think we always come back to this, but styles make fights. And I do think Glover Teixeira actually has the right style to beat Jan. Jan is not a fast puncher. Jan is a powerful puncher, but Glover Teixeira can take a punch like we've never seen before. Thiago Santos literally threw everything, basically pulled that hammer off of his chest and hit Glover across the head with it and still couldn't finish him, and he ended up getting submitted. So while Jan does possess a lot of power, Glover can take a good punch, and I think it's going to take a speed fighter to beat Glover, which would be Jiří. Jiří's very unorthodox. Jiří Procházka wins fights by spinning elbow against the cage. He'll do a double backflip to a double leg takedown. He's that kind of fighter. He's one of the most exciting fighters in the entire organization, and that's why he's got a major fan base, even though he hasn't been in the UFC for that long. But I do think the stylistic matchup between Jiří Procházka and Jan Błachowicz would be a total stand-up war. I think the power goes to Jan. I think the creativity, obviously the age, and the flow state sort of fighting would go to Jiří. And I have no idea who would win that fight, because obviously Jiří does get hit. That's one of the things about his style. He's very exciting, but he's kind of like Yair Rodriguez in that way. He throws a lot of interesting stuff. He cracks people with a lot of interesting stuff, but he does wear it on his chin every now and then, and you can't take too many shots from Jan Błachowicz. So I have no idea who would win that fight, and for that reason, I kind of am more intrigued to see Jiří versus Jan than I am Glover versus Jan too.
Yeah, and when we see Glover fight Jiří, we're going to have some answers, maybe not full case closed types of answers that we're looking for if we were to see Jan versus Jiří. But Glover and Jan are very similar in the sense that they hit hard when they do hit you. And Glover's got great hands, but he's not quite the dynamic striker that Jan is. So I think that there's a few differences, but if they get their hands on Jiří and they're able to crack him, that could present some trouble. The only thing is Jiří's very dynamic, like you're saying. He gets around really well, and he scrambles very, very well. So Glover Teixeira is going to have to crack him hard enough to get the fight to the ground. And then I think if he does get Jiří to the ground, he will get the finish. I just think that Jan Błachowicz has a chance if he goes in there with Jiří that he could stand and trade with him. And, okay, you might light me up with some of those shots, and you've got really powerful kicks. So those aren't going to sit me down. I'm a former champion. Jan could end up cracking him, and they go punch for punch or kick for kick, and he winds up knocking Jiří out. So it's hard to say who fares better against Jiří, whether it's Glover or Jan. And even though Glover beat Jan, I kind of am leaning towards Jan having a better stylistic matchup against Jiří than Glover is. But who knows? I mean, you can't doubt the champion that's 43 years old and beating everybody under the sun. Been in the game as long as he's been in the game. But Jiří is a very tough fight for him to be defending his title against. And if he's able to do this, obviously give him the Jan fight. And if Jan's able to steal it from him, Jiří's probably right back in, inserting himself. Like we said in the last video, there's plenty of new guys, new faces, really interesting athletes at 205 that are they're like at the top of the wave, and the wave is about to crash, and we're going to get a full clean slate of new guys at 205. Some of them are already rearing their heads. You've got your Jiřís, you've got your Rakićs, you've got those types, and they're all right on the cusp of being title holders, number one contenders, and all that stuff. But for the time being, we got a couple of old dogs that are still showing these young guys exactly what's up.
Yes, we do. And light heavyweight has not been this exciting since John Jones was coming up.
Couldn't agree more.
Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Drop us a comment. Who would you rather see Jan Błachowicz fight next? Jiří Procházka or Glover Teixeira? Also, let us know who you think is going to win the title fight. We always love chatting with you in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.